Good morning. My name is Dennis Berkey, and as president of WPI, it's a great honor to welcome all of you and have so many of you here with us this morning to dedicate and celebrate the opening of the George I. Alden Life Sciences and Bioengineering Center at WPI. We have what I think is an informative program for you, but before proceeding with that, I wish to propose a moment of silence in remembrance of our departed Senator and friend, Edward M. Kennedy, who did so much for this institution, for this community, and for the nation. Would you please rise and observe a moment of silence? Thank you, and please be seated. It's a glorious morning, and it's the first day of the fall term at WPI, so you will find a campus chocked with faculty and students, and we have some wonderful news regarding WPI's progress. We have welcomed this past weekend the largest entering class in our history, some 940 strong. We had anticipated 850, so that's another significant increase in our appeal to students. A little shoehorning going on in the residence halls, as you might imagine. It is a terrific class. Half of these students enter with advanced placement credit. More than a third of them enter with perfect 4.0 averages in their high school experience. 35 class valedictorians, another 30 class salutatorians. They are terrific young people, and we are so pleased to be able to provide them with the kind of facilities that we are going to be talking about this morning. This class, by the way, includes 31% females. That's a record high number for WPI, and it includes a record high number of underrepresented minority students. So the progress in building this student body is, I think, quite impressive. We also are welcoming the largest number of new faculty ever to be recruited at WPI in a single year, and we are in the process of closing out the books with a record operating surplus for this past academic year. So this is an institution that's making fine progress because of the wonderful work that our faculty are doing day in and day out, and because of the strong support of our alumni and our staff and the members of the community and our philanthropists who support us so strongly. So it is a very special time in which I welcome you to WPI. I want to extend a special word of welcome to WPI trustees and emeritus trustees, to members of the faculty, the student body, the staff, and the alumni are here this morning. And a very special word of thanks to the trustees of the George I. Alden Trust, which of course have made this day possible through their great generosity. We are delighted to have all of the Alden trustees with us to celebrate this morning, and they are Susan Woodbury, Chair of the Alden Trust, Warner Fletcher, Clerk of the Trust and Trustee of WPI, James Collins, and Gail Randall. I welcome all of them. I'm pleased also to welcome Mark Fuller of the Fuller Foundation, which has made major gifts to WPI in support of academic facilities across the years, including a beautiful set of chemistry labs which comprised the first phase of the renovation of Goddard Hall, the site of the new Alden Center. I want to recognize Professor David DiBiasio, head of the Chemical Engineering Department, which occupies parts of Goddard Hall. He and his colleagues extended totally unwarranted degrees of cooperation and accommodation as they continued their academic and research duties during the course of the renovations of this building. I wish to welcome state legislators. We have with us State Senator Mike Moore, State Representative Jim O'Day, State Representative Karen Polito, and State Senator Karen Spilka. We're delighted to have all of them with us. I'm also very pleased to welcome Beth Nicholas and Melissa Walsh from the Massachusetts Life Science Center. And finally, I want to acknowledge and welcome those who helped bring the Alden Center into being. Brent Arthur and Mike Andrews of Cardinal Construction, Anthony Consigli and Brian Hamilton of Consigli Construction, and Scott Pask of EYP Architects. want to comment in particular how grateful I am to our architects, EYP, for the insight they brought early on in this project. When Kathy and I arrived at WPI, one of the things that was pointed out to us about this beautiful campus was that Goddard Hall had probably reached the end of its useful life, and we were going to have to think about raising it at some point and replacing it with a proper facility that could support undergraduate science education as well as chemistry and chemical engineering. When we got around to the consideration of Goddard Hall, our Executive Vice President Jeff Solomon had the wisdom to invite EYP to come in and take a good hard look at Goddard Hall. And what EYP told us, contrary to what the prevailing belief on the campus was, is, and I'm going to quote now, "This is a building with good bones. It would be a mistake to tear this building down. What we ought to be doing is renovating and recycling this building, and we think we can find a way to help you do that." And they certainly did. They conceived of a brilliant plan, the results of which you will see today. So I'm especially grateful to the EYP architects for helping us see the green way to dealing with the needs of the facility for undergraduate science instruction at WPI. I also want to express gratitude to all of the faculty, staff, and graduate students who work in Goddard Hall for tolerating the work of the project while continuing their own work, sometimes in very challenging conditions. Now, of course, the built environment of a university ought to reflect the character and values of that institution, and so it is with the new Alden Center. You will see this morning in these new laboratories that they are of an open style that supports the collaborative nature of modern science and the very educational philosophy of WPI, an ideal environment for our innovative and engaging project-based approach to education.